Come correct or don't come at all.
This is the Hartzog Hustle Podcast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And we're talking about the hustle, strategy, and mindset you need to win in the areas of your finance, your purpose, and your future.
Know what I'm saying?
If you have heart and you want to learn how to activate the power of your hustle, then this is the podcast for you, baby. For you, baby.
Congratulations.
And now, your hosts, Anthony and Janilka Hartzog.
This is how it should be done.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Hartzog Hustle Podcast. My name is Anthony, and I'm joined here by my beautiful co-host, a.k.a. my wife.
Okay, I was waiting for
a.k.a.
that.
the mother of my child, Janilka Hartzog. What up?
Hello, everyone.
What's good? What's good?
Happy to be here. How are you liking our new studio?
Listen, guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube,
Yeah?
we are still trying to figure out this studio setup, so still brand new here. Maybe next couple episodes you'll see some backdrops and stuff like that. But until we get there, listen, we are not going to delay the content because, listen, we could be trying to do this and make this perfect as long as we want.
Mm-hmm. But you're here for the information. You still get that.
Exactly. So, yeah, we still gonna figure this out. We gonna get it set up for y'all. But until we get there, you're gonna get this what we get right now. Most people will not even get this going. They'd still be worrying about the audio, the visual, the lighting.
We worry about it. We just don't let it stop us.
Yeah, that's true too. Because it definitely takes a while to get this set up.
So if you, first thing first, let's stop right there. Oh, I don't even have I got to read a review from someone. But stop right there. Please leave us a review. Please go ahead and drop us a review. It helps us to keep growing, for people to see us, to hopefully one day get some sponsorships. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, share, comment, like, all of the above. And thank you for continuing to tune in.
That's very important because without you guys, we really can't do this thing. No. And I do want to give a shout out to some reviews. We got some up here. So we're going to read the most recent review.
See, I think I read that one last time. I'm just going to read this
so
one.
we are
I'm
over,
go with that one.
We're also over 100 reviews too. So that's very important. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for getting this.
111 to be specific. So I'm going to read. No, I think I read that. I read that one already. I'm going with this one. It says they have a good energy. They have good energy together, which is very pleasant to experience. I wish them the best. That's from Bonnie421.
Shout out to Bonnie421.
Thank you, Bonnie421. We
Very
appreciate
important.
you writing a review. I mean, it's one thing to just put the stars, another thing to go ahead and write the review. We really appreciate that.
So get us some more. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we got to keep this thing going. So
yes. What are we talking about today?
Listen, if you guys didn't know, we just celebrated our anniversary.
6 years.
6 years in the set. 6 years on the set. Mm-hmm. What did we learn?
What did we learn in
what
6
did we do?
years?
What did we learn?
So every year for our anniversary, we travel. Only time we didn't travel, I think, was COVID, and another time we didn't travel. But we went to Puerto Rico this time because we brought our daughter Alani, and she didn't have her passport yet. The plan was to leave the country, but her passport is in transport to our home sometime soon, hopefully.
Hopefully we get that.
So we went to Puerto Rico instead, stayed there for about 5 days, and that was a good time. But the funny thing about that hotel, so we stayed at, now that we're not there, we can say it. We stayed at St. Regis Hotel, which is part of Marriott. But I was telling Tony, which he didn't remember at all, that when we went to Hawaii, our first year anniversary in 2017, we met a couple that happened to live in Dallas as well. They lived 2 exits from us. So we're like, oh my God. And they were staying at the hotel called St. Regis. At that time, I had never heard of it. We were at the island of, I think, Kauai. I can't be sure, but I think it was the island of Kauai. And the next day, the island is pretty small, and we had a car, so we just drove, because they're like, you can drive to the hotel, take pictures. It has a beautiful view. So we drove to this hotel. We're like, oh my God, we will never be able to afford this. So it was the St. Regis in Kauai. We were trying to find pictures. I don't know why we couldn't find any, but whatever. So when we had a friend book it for us, but I didn't even realize it until we were on our way there. And I'm like, wait a minute. In 2017, we were hopefully one day we can afford this. There's no way we can afford this. I think it was, at the time we looked it up, I think it was $700-800 a night in the one in Hawaii. So we went to it in Puerto Rico. So it was a full circle moment from year 1 to year 6. to actually being able to stay in it.
That's when you told me that.
He's like, what? Find it. I'm like, you don't remember the drive?
I remember
it like it was yesterday.
I don't remember the hotel.
Yeah.
But it was very important when you said that because looking back 5 years ago, we're like, you said that. I wish we could afford this. This hotel was $1,000 a night.
Over $1,000 a night. Yeah.
$1,000 a night. Let me just repeat that one more time.
Then I'm realizing like that's about the price we paid for Maldives. Like,
in Maldives was a 20-hour flight, but
yeah.
And so we stayed at a hotel. It was $1,000 a night, and the price is not important, but it's important in our story. I mean, not important. You may be like, yo, $1,000 a night is nothing. I got throw in a credit card, but it was important for us because
most people are not going to say $1,000 a night is nothing.
Listen,
it depends on your pocket.
Listen, if you on Instagram, you gonna be like $1,000 a night is nothing because you got it.
That's all shade.
Everybody
That's
on social
all
media,
shade.
Everybody on social media got it, but it was important because 5 years ago we could have been like, yo, we gonna put this on a credit card and go, and that's what most people do. But we were able to go to this hotel and not have to worry about the price because I didn't
even tell you. You just like, what? How much it cost here?
So I even went on. This is a full circle moment for me too because I was like, well, 5 years ago we could have put it on a credit card, but we were trying to get out of debt at that point too.
So we wasn't using credit cards.
So we wasn't using credit cards. Mm-hmm. And what's important is that vacation doesn't come back with you. Most people are like, yo, I'm gonna go to this spot, I'm gonna put it on a credit card, and then I'm gonna pay it off over time or whatever. And that vacation comes back with you because now you're trying to figure out, all right, it's in your budget, it's in your meetings, it's in your statement, it's in your monthly credit card report, it's in everything, and you're seeing that vacation over and over. Mm-hmm. And even while we were there, it's like it was over $100 per meal. And breakfast is cheap no matter where you go. So how was breakfast $100?
Well, breakfast was included for our package.
Well, I'm just saying as an example.
In general,
and
mimosas, the things add up.
Yeah, everything's over $100. Every meal was over $100. We had a driver there the location from coming back. We had a butler that we could text any time of night to bring us stuff, and we didn't have to worry about the price of the actual vacation, and we were able to just enjoy it while we were there. So, just being able to be in the moment was very important.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, look at us here at the spot that we said we'll never be able to afford. So never say never. I still say that about things though. Like you would mention like a car or something. I'm like, wow. Yeah. That's like amazing.
A Bentley or a Porsche. I'm like.
Yeah, I always say a Bentley is my afterlife car. So if I ever afford a Bentley, I'm going to be like, wow. I'm going to be blown away.
Same.
So, yeah, exactly.
If you could afford a Bentley, I'm like, wow, you must have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
you never know.
That was a very... And then we also brought our daughter, too. So that's another thing about the trip, too, was that we were able to bring our daughter... She was on a plane, and she did very well.
Yeah, she did really good.
And she slept, and she enjoyed it. But let's talk about a part of the plane that was... We were... Hold on. So I'm going to talk about the part where instead of us getting the seat, we were going to try to maneuver it.
You gotta be speaking in code.
All right, it's not a code. So
okay,
people try to save money over being convenient sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So the convenient thing would have been us buying three seats on the plane, putting our daughter in her own seat with the car seat, and have her be comfortable and us being comfortable.
Yeah, but listen.
Hold on. And we have the money to do it. It was like $500, something like that.
No, the flights were actually pretty expensive.
If we would have did it when we first bought the tickets, how much would it have been?
The flights were expensive.
What was the total?
I couldn't tell you, but it was more than I would have wanted to spend. But because we couldn't leave the country, I was like, okay.
So we could have paid for the convenience of us putting our daughter in her own seat, in her own car seat.
Could we afford it? Yes.
And enjoying the flight. But instead, we said we're going to try to maneuver at the last minute at the front of the gate, asking them if they had any extra seats.
It was a risk.
It was a risk.
Okay.
And we didn't weigh the risk versus the reward because going there, we were able to maneuver.
Yeah. So we had to take 2 flights going to Puerto Rico, but on the way back, it was direct. And it was a 4-hour plus flight.
And how much was the flight back?
Packed. I don't know it separately.
It was a one-way.
Yeah, but I didn't purchase it. I just told Tori to go ahead. I don't know.
And also, shout outs to the Tori Elizabeth. She booked it for us. She's amazing.
She's been doing our flights. Not just our flights, our getaways. So I just tell her what we want. I tell her the budget. She goes and books it. So
shout outs to her. We're going to drop her IG and you're going to drop her in the show notes and the YouTube stuff. So Coming back was a 5-hour flight. Going there, we
4
were
hours and 20 minutes.
whatever. We were able to maneuver both flights. We had the free seat. We were able to put Alani in it. We were comfortable. Coming back, she was on our laps for 4.5 hours.
Yes, 2 hours each person.
And we were going to split it up 2 hours each person. Still, I would have preferred to pay for the seat to have her come back so that she's comfortable.
And then we're comfortable. Well, let me tell you, we are going to St. Lucia in August, and she's on us again. The only time we're supposed to be going to, God willing, we're supposed to be going to Spain in October. And that, I said, absolutely not. We are paying for a seat.
So why not have her be comfortable and us comfortable versus trying to maneuver?
Because trying to be cheap, one.
Why do we try to be cheap?
Two, it's not that long of a flight. Like, from here to Miami is like an hour and a half, too. So the flight to St. Lucia.
We knew we had a 4-hour direct
flight. Well, we just didn't do it. It is what it is. And I'm not doing it for St. Lucia.
I'm trying to figure out why we didn't do it. We knew we had to do it, and we just chose not to.
We chose not to. Because she can be free for now, so you want to take advantage of when she's free.
When she's free. Okay. I get it.
Because once two comes,
you're trying to save money over your convenience. And you always say, I'd rather pay for convenience over...
I do say that. But the other thing was that we were supposed to practice her in the carrier. If you don't know, the carrier is the thing where they can be on your back or just in front of you, whatever the case may be. We were supposed to practice her on there so that it was convenient. Like on the plane, your hands are free. She's just sleeping in that. But she ain't never been in there, so it didn't work out. So
definitely didn't work.
So we brought it, but we didn't use it. So there's that.
Okay. So this vacation was very, very different. We had our daughter.
Yeah.
And we were knocking out by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
11. But either way, even if she wasn't there, we probably would have went, if they had a bar, we would have went there and came back to the room by 12 anyway. So I don't feel like I lost too much at all.
And this was the first time she was actually sleeping for an extended amount of time too.
Yeah, so it was the first time she went to a pool. Obviously, she's not 3 months yet. So it's the first time that she went to a pool. And the day that she went to the pool, she went 2 days in a row. That's when she slept the longest. We were like, wait a minute, she needs to be in swimming lessons, but I don't think they could be in it until they're 6 months. But she slept for 10 hours plus, and I kept like, is she breathing? Yeah, that was. Want to keep making sure, is she breathing? I was like, do you see her breathing?
He's like, since she's been back, she's been sleeping about 7 hours.
Yeah. And then she did a 12-hour stretch, and we had to wake her up because we had places to be. Yeah. But she's been a good sleeper generally. Like, she does like 6 hours is how it's been. But now she's doing anywhere between like 7 to 11 hours.
And
I ain't mad.
Even where, and it was a, yeah, she did really well in that vacation. I'm proud of her. And another thing, we was out there, everyone was like, yo, I can't imagine having my kid out here, or I can't imagine.
Oh, this young, yeah.
Yeah, this young, or even on the plane, oh my gosh, she's so young.
Yeah.
And I know you come from a culture where your family took you when you was a
bambino.
When you was like two days old.
Not 2 days.
You was traveling. So
Yeah. I've been traveling since young. I don't know how young I was, but I've been traveling since I was a baby, probably before I can talk. So same thing with her. And I know people are like, well, they can't really understand it or whatever the case may be. But as you get older, it'll just become a norm. Like, it's always been a norm for me to make sure that I travel. I used to go to Panama for the whole summer because my grandparents were there, spend the whole summer there, and then come back. Or if I wasn't going there, my mother made sure I was doing something. So maybe it was Disney World, maybe it was Atlanta, maybe it was, family reunions. I was going somewhere. So same thing would be for her.
And she may not have the memories, but we'll have the pictures
and stuff. Yeah,
we'll have the videos. We'll be able to talk to her, and we made sure we took a lot of pictures and videos while we were out there. And we visited the castle of Castillo. Castillo. That was a good experience because, number one,
first of all, when you're in the midst of something, you realize things you need. Yeah. We had brought a fan with us to Puerto Rico to put on the stroller, but when we went out into the town, we forgot the fan.
We needed it, yeah.
For her, we're like, okay, we need that. And then there was like she was starting to fall asleep, but it was so sunny, and I brought the cover for the stroller, but forgot it in the room. So it was just kind of like, okay, what are some things we're missing or not remembering? I'm like, it's hard to remember it all.
You can't.
It's hard to remember it all.
But that was a good experience, us visiting that castle, even though it was hot as hell. I think it did more for us as a couple than it did for just like
knowledge?
The experience and knowledge. Because it was so hot out there. Hot. We had the stroller. I
had the right sneakers. I didn't have no sneakers on. I had on slippers.
I think it was more for us as a couple, as a team building process than the actual knowledge. Because I can't tell you anything about the castle. No. You learned that the castle was built to keep the
it was helping the
it kept the United States
in contact with the Caribbeans due to the Panama Canal.
Yeah, so they controlled the Panama Canal
through
Puerto Rico, and he who controlled the Panama Canal controlled the way the
world got their goods.
The world got their goods. So
America
got their goods. So that's why they control that. So that's what I learned out there. But
that's hilarious. Yeah, but I had on some Hermes slippers. I bust my you know what. It was not the right footwear for what we were going to do.
No, it definitely wasn't. But it was fun.
But the theme behind that was, if you don't know, like 60. I don't know if you guys follow that. Every year there's a theme for the anniversary. And this year, at 6 years, the theme is iron. So we went to a castle. Iron. The castle has iron. You know, yeah. It was cool though. It was nice. And then we went to
which is my idea.
Okay, here we go. Then we went to the restaurant that started a pina colada, and then we went and got food. So yeah. And then
the
realizing
first pina colada ever. They're the creators of the pina colada.
What I always realized, even though Puerto Rico is in America, but in general, a lot of places are not. Even though stroller is not handicap friendly, but a lot of places just are not handicap friendly, so they ain't stroller friendly.
Yeah.
So you got to either be picking it up or you got to figure it out.
Yeah, it was it was hot. A lot of people. The streets are very small.
Down. Streets are like this.
And there's still. We were talking to the Uber driver while we were going there. It was a good 45 minutes. That was another thing too.
Oh yeah, where we stayed is in the suburbs. If you want that lit lifestyle, just stay in San Juan. Where we stayed was not. It was very desolate.
So the Uber drive was 45 minutes, and he made us recognize that you got to appreciate what you have, because he moved from Puerto Rico to Arizona and like Philadelphia, something like that, because he was with a young lady.
His wife was pharmacy school.
She's going through pharmacy school, and she was completing that. And he was like, yeah, we could have got a job out there, but we realized the growth in Puerto Rico and the opportunities. So they said they ended up coming back. Mm-hmm. And for us, when he originally left, he was moving over there for opportunities, but he realized there was more opportunity back home
in Puerto Rico.
And that just reminded me, like, when we go, like when in college, right? We leave, like even me, I left college. I went from Brooklyn, upstate New York. And when I came back, it was like, well, Brooklyn's a different place.
Oh yeah.
And
we go back now, Brooklyn's a different place.
Yeah, it was so much opportunity there that I just wasn't looking for, because I was so anxious to leave, and when I came back, it's a whole different place.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to recognize the opportunity.
So does that mean you'll go back to Brooklyn now?
No, definitely. I'm keeping the opportunity that I have down here in Dallas, Texas. So that was something that I learned that I felt was. I always think about moments, but that was something that was very important. That you got to recognize the opportunities that are around you.
Yeah. Well, speaking about opportunities, the reason that we said we wanted to do this episode was we got to meet up with two people that are big in this space.
What's this space?
Entrepreneurial space.
Better give them the proper introduction.
Okay, I thought that was a good one. I thought I was rolling there. And Terry from Trade and Travel. If you do not know who Terry is, maybe you need to wake up now. But her course was one of the biggest courses sold on teachable.com, right? Mm-hmm. And she teaches about trading and traveling, living the best life. And then there was Abu. We were able to have dinner with Terry and Abu. I don't know, all the stars aligned for us.
And Abu is the master of marketing and advertisements on Facebook. So if you follow him or you don't follow him, you'll probably see his ads everywhere you go.
So, question for you: were you fangirling when you met them?
Terry,
fangirling, if you don't, it's just a terminology you use when you see somebody you probably look up to.
No, I wouldn't say Terry. No, because I feel like you see Abu a lot more than Terry. But I feel like Terry, no, because I feel like she feels like family, because that's just her personality. She's very warm.
We did see her when we did Anthony O'Neill's podcast. Yeah, we kind of met her.
So you feel like they're family when you feel when they're very homely and personable. Yeah. And Abu, I've never spoken to him or seen him before, so it was like, I know this guy because I see his ads everywhere.
Yeah. It's like you know the person, but you don't know the person. Yeah. So you don't want to be too like...
So, you know what's funny? before you even get to that, we were in the airport. Speaking of like,
I forgot.
Speaking of like fanning out, we were in the airport.
We wasn't even in yet. We were unpacking the car. Our flight was like
she won't ever let me tell a story. That's
go ahead.
That's one thing about Janoko. Is like she won't ever let me tell a story. Mind you, I
forgot about it.
I remember this story. I remember. Oh yeah, let me tell this story. She's like,
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. You tell it. I just feel like the excitement is just good. Go ahead.
I already had the excitement.
Go ahead. Finish it up then.
So we were in the airport and we were going to Puerto Rico, and we heard somebody yelling outside of a car, and they was like, Anthony Hartrimony. They didn't say Janoka's name because obviously it's probably harder to say Janoka's name off the top of your head, or if you don't remember it. And say, oh my God, I'm watching your content last night. I'm buying your course. And then they DM'd us like, oh my God, so I hope that wasn't too much, but I was so excited to see you guys. I want to let you know. And I thought that was pretty cool. And the reason I thought it was cool was not because they were yelling our name, but they were confident in themselves to let us know that they appreciate us. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, people on social media, they may have paid off a bunch of debt. They may have started a multi-million-dollar cleaning business. They may have been inspired by our story, and they may see us like, I'm intimidated by them or who they think they are, even though we may have changed your life. But they'd be too pumped up in themselves to say anything.
Ego.
They'd be too egotistic to say anything. But he was like, nah, I'm gonna let them know. I know who they are and I appreciate them.
We definitely were like, huh? What?
We were all over the place. It was early. We were moving, but that was very appreciative. Shout out to, I forgot the DM, but I appreciate you.
Yeah,
if we find it, we definitely, if we post this, we're gonna tag you somewhere.
We'll tag you somewhere.
And if you see this, then make sure you let us know that you saw it and you appreciate it. So shout out to you, man. We appreciate that.
So we had, so you said not necessarily fangirling, but just appreciative that they took time out to have dinner with us. Terry lives in Puerto Rico, and Abu was visiting her. So we had dinner with them. We went out to San Juan and had dinner with them. Milani went too, of course.
Milani soaked up all the game.
She was in the middle of that. And it's always funny when you meet people from Instagram, because you have this, with anybody, you have this thought of what you think they'll be like. Like you said, we met Terry, so we kind of had an idea. You have this thought of how you think they will interact or whatever the case may be. But it was all like, hey, and just hit it right off. Like, there was no awkward moment. There was no, you think I'm good?
Yeah. Okay. Just moving it back.
There was no awkward moment. There was no like, oh, so what do you do? Like, we know what each other do, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it was just kind of like business talk and meshing and life and vibe, just good conversation, literally.
And I felt like it was like $1 million worth of game, honestly speaking, because we got to interact on a level where most people you can't get that type of information online. You can't get that information through coaching, because people, they don't do one-on-one coaching. So imagine you have somebody sit there, you're talking to them, and you guys are just vibing so much that the game is just like, it's just flowing off of you. It's not even like forcing it. And that type of game is definitely worth $1 million, I would say, because go ahead. No, go ahead. I was gonna say just because it was.
Oh, okay.
And I'm saying the game that we got definitely could take us to another $1 million. We made $1 million already, but it could take us to that next $1 million. And we're gonna give y'all some of the insights.
What I think about is, like, you know how we interact with them and soak it up, and then I'm like, some people look at us that way, and I'd be feeling like we just be chatting, always just talking. But then it's some certain gems or certain things that just resonates with people, right? Yeah. And that's what that was. We had like tacos, drinks, and the whole shebang. It was just a good time. But we wrote a list of things that
and we ain't gonna get
learned in that game.
And there's gonna be some of it y'all gonna have to get from day courses, because we need to be affiliates. Actually, we can be affiliates for those. I think I got affiliate links, but
because he's actually taking both of their courses. That's the other thing. You're taking both of their courses, so it's not like
it's not like I'm just getting free information.
Yeah.
And we're talking about $2,000 courses, so we ain't talking about $997 or $797 or $50. Nah, $2,000 courses that we've taken. So
for both of them,
we were privileged to get some information.
Okay,
and it's not just pertaining to our business. It's just things we've just learned throughout the course of the conversation, but also things that could apply to anyone's life too. Especially if you're in the business space, entrepreneurship space, or even just personal development, just things you could just take away and things that we took away from the conversation. We ain't gonna put their business out there because we went into numbers and stuff like that. But we'll try to keep it general, but also give you an overview as to what we got from it.
So let's see here. We have some stuff listed. You want to start with the first one?
Of course. So I would say getting help and stop helping everyone. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at
so
you.
this came up in conversation because that's something that we always we're still brand new in we've been entrepreneurs for 5 years now, but we're brand new in the teaching space. It's different when you're an entrepreneur and you own the business because you control that. But when you're teaching people, some of it may be individuals, some of it may be group coaching, you feel like you want to be the savior of everyone who gets your information.
And that's specific to Anthony. Because
Janoka, I ain't saving nobody.
Not that I'm not saving anybody, but I am a therapist and I do have an understanding. Well, I'm not saying that you don't understand that you can't help everyone.
Definitely can't.
Everyone shouldn't be a business owner. So
definitely shouldn't.
People that buy our course, some people probably shouldn't buy it. That's the honest truth. And it's okay that everyone isn't a business owner, and I can't help everyone. And so that refers kind of, I think, to when we were speaking about the DMs. And I always say, protect your peace, sir. Like, you got to stop responding to these DMs. And Abu and Terry definitely agreed. They were like, yeah, that's the first thing you got to outsource. You got to stop responding to these DMs because you respond once just to help somebody out, and they keep coming back and keep taking advantage. Right? And
they may not recognize, they may not even see that's taking advantage. They just may see it as, oh my God, I gotta respond. That actually just happened. Somebody DM'd us a long response, and every time you see these long responses, you're like, what are you reading? Yeah. So the response is mad long, and I responded, and then they sent another long one. She's like, see, I told you.
And I'm not saying we can't ever respond to anyone, but it's just that we can't keep up like this. We can't sustain like this because then it gets frustrating. Sometimes people are asking things that are in the course already or just asking things that are on our page and things like that. So wanting to help everyone and, I think the response time as well, when people email us or DM us, we're responding within under an hour. I'm like, we need to put a bounce back. Give us 24 to 48 hours like any other company. Between this hours and this hours, we'll respond.
So I took away and I created a bounce back via our email. What's your own water at?
I don't know. Sorry.
So I created a bounce back for our email for Cleaning Business University that says, hey, we received your email. You've reached Cleaning Business University. Please allow us 24 to 48 hours to respond to you if this is in regards to any course information. And I had somebody that emailed us at 4 a.m. and then again at 6 a.m. and then DM'd us saying, hey, I didn't get a response yet. 4 a.m., 6 a.m., and then DM'd us at like 9. So that's what we took away from that.
Getting help, meaning putting someone in place that can probably answer these things and stop helping everyone.
Stop trying to help everyone. Because you can't help everyone. It's impossible.
No. You got to understand that.
Whoa, that's a ball.
Because I understand that.
That's a ball.
Let's see. Stop letting people try out your product. They need to be invested in you and what they are buying.
So we had tried out, we've tried out different price points for our information. And one of the challenges was that you can't have everybody take your information because everybody's not going to action it. When you pay attention. That's a big one.
Yep.
So you got to have people who are invested in what the information they're getting, but also invested in themselves because you can't sell someone on a price.
Mindset shift.
Yeah, you can't sell someone on a price. If the price is the barrier to them getting the information, that's not going to be enough. The barrier to getting the information has to be how much do they want to invest in themselves? How much are they willing to invest and learn and grow? It has to be internal. So that's what I got from that one.
And next one was my fave from Terry. She has said everyone ain't broke. Period.
And we told her this is gonna go on the ground.
Drop mic. Everyone ain't broke. And just in regards to what you were saying about the course and the pricing and stuff like that, you as a course creator or any services that you have or that you're selling, you're worried like, oh, $50 is too much for this pants. There's people out there that can afford that $50. There's some people out there that can only afford the $20. But that shouldn't be the reason that you stop selling your $50 product. Same thing for anybody else that's doing a course. That shouldn't be the reason you shouldn't sell your course for $1,000 or $2,000 because you're like, people can't afford it. Everybody ain't broke. Okay? So people can afford what you have. People still buying the Gucci's and the Louis and the Versace's and the Tiffany's and Chanel. Hello, there's somebody buying it. So they can definitely afford it. Everybody ain't broke. Period.
That was a self-sufficient one. Self-explanatory. I think you got that one.
Yes.
Knowing your worth, that goes back to the same thing. So when we started working with our business coach, Donnie Wiggins, I didn't know the worth of the information because I didn't believe it was life-changing. Only because it changed our life doesn't mean it could change anyone else's. And it took me recognizing that you don't have to change everyone's life. If you just change one person's life, that information is enough. So it took me a while to come around to knowing the worth of the information that we were sharing. So that was very important, just knowing your worth.
Let's see. What's next for big dreamers? I think that that's a big deal because it's like when it comes to entrepreneurship and stuff, it's like, when does it end?
There's always something next.
There's always something next, good or bad, right? I mean, at what point do you reach the point of like, I've done all I can? I don't know. You always, I feel like we've had a whole podcast topic on this, but
we did.
You're always striving for something else, doing something else, grow. Like, how are you going to grow this year? Like, that's the conversation. It's like, what am I doing next? And what do you see for your business? It's always, and it's like, I don't know, I just want to write this out maybe. Or can I do more? So I think that that's something that a lot of people just always think about, like, what's next? Even if you're like at your 9 to 5, most people don't want to stay at that level. They want to become the manager, the director, and move on up. So, and
especially if you're a big dreamer, you may have reached the pinnacle of multi-million dollars in terms of business. I made multi-million dollars. Like, what's next for me? You may want to start a nonprofit. You may want to travel the world and just help people. That's one that you become caged in your own thoughts because you're always thinking about what else is next for me. And even that conversation, she asked like, what do we see for ourselves going next? And we were like,
I don't know.
We don't know. we didn't have an answer like what's next. What's next?
And
for us.
sometimes you don't know what's next. I think that's fine.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. It gives you time to figure it out. If you don't know it right now, you got time to figure it out. It doesn't have to be what's next. Doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. It could be next year, 5 years from now. But you always want to have dreams. You don't ever want to set your sights too low. You always want to have dreams. And sometimes it's okay to not know what's next.
Let's see. It's not about the price of the room. What was that one?
That was about not about the price of the room. And these are just paraphrasing.
Yeah. Obviously, we didn't record record our dinner.
That means that I would never have dinner with anyone. Yeah. So it's about just coaching, mentorship. Because you see a lot of big events these days, you see a lot of big promises. It's like, you got 20,000 here to invest, 50,000 here. And sometimes it's not about the price of being in a room, which is very important though, because that weeds out the people who aren't serious sometimes. But it also may hinder you by saying, all right, I spent 20,000 to be here, 50,000 to be here. It's about what networking opportunities are in the room, and about who's in the room, what type of information are you getting in the room, who are you building with in the room, which may be more important than the actual price of the entire room to be in.
Because you could get into a room for $70.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing in that room? So I get, like you said, not assuming that because it's a $20,000, $2,000 cost, that that's the only way I'm going to benefit out of it. You could benefit in a smaller room, but what are you doing when you get in the room? That's the big thing.
What are you doing when you get in the room?
Because you get there, you just sitting there on your phone, and then you leave and don't network, then, hey, yeah, it was a waste. That's on you, though.
Nah, that's definitely on you, and that's definitely a gem.
So
these next two would probably be in line with each other.
Okay. Who coaches the coaches, and when do entrepreneurs get help? So I think, I always think about, like, there's always a saying that everybody has a boss.
Yeah.
Even at work, like the boss got a boss.
Even when you own the business,
got to see somebody. There's always somebody over somebody. Same thing with the coaches. So we have multiple coaches, and I'll use Donnie, but we have Donnie as our business coach. She has a coach. I'm sure her coach has a coach, and so on and so forth. So, but I think finding someone to coach you when you're a coach is probably a difficult thing as well.
Yeah, because you may feel like you're at the pinnacle of your game. Like, even with us, that's about the cleaning business. Like, we don't technically have a cleaning business coach.
We do not.
And we probably should have someone who coaches us.
On that business side, because Donnie coaches us on the.
And we probably should have someone in the cleaning business industry that coaches us. But there are certain things that I feel like the coach that I would need in that business wouldn't necessarily be a cleaning business coach, honestly. I would say I would need someone who's grown and scaled a business, a local service business, across multiple locations, across multiple cities, across multiple states, whatever it may be, and have done millions upon millions of revenue. It may not be a cleaning business coach, but someone who's taken a local service business and has expanded it across multiple different areas.
And that's just based on where we are now.
Yeah.
When we started, or if you're just starting out, us as your coach would be enough to get you to a certain point. But where we are now, then it's like, okay, we want to take it to much higher levels.
Exactly. And also getting the help, because entrepreneurs, we are probably the strong friends for our friends too. We may be
Tell me more.
We may be the friends. Like, they see you, like, as an entrepreneur, especially today, you seen as an entrepreneur, it seems like, all right, I'm not working a 9 to 5. I may have figured out the matrix, whatever it may be. So your friends and family may see you as like that go-to person who's figured out life. If I don't go to an office and work for somebody else, I mean, essentially, I may have figured out life. Yeah. I mean, that's the...
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, all right, everyone's whole purpose of a 9 to 5 is eventually get out and retire, right? That's the goal at 60, 65. I figured it out at 35, so I may be that strong friend, quote unquote. But who checks on that strong friend? When do entrepreneurs get that extra level of help outside of like coaching? So,
and that's a hard one. I think entrepreneurs may get that extra level of help. I feel like only just from like coaches and mentors. It's hard to get that coaching from friends if they're not doing the same thing.
Or even close to it.
Or close to it. Not that they don't have an understanding. Obviously, they're not foolish, so they know what an entrepreneur is.
They know 1 + 1 is 2. They can figure that out.
Yes, they know what it means, but certain struggles and certain things, it's not something that you would go to them for. And that's not shade at all. It just means because we're not in the same place when it comes to that part of things.
Yeah.
Right? So... yeah, I think when it comes to that, it's really just like mentors and coaches. I'm not going to any of my friends about entrepreneurship issues. It's really just you, me and you.
So that's pretty much when do coaches get help and when do entrepreneurs get help. So yeah, I'm just thinking about that. And testing to see what works. That's something that we've done multiple times. We're always seeing what works in our business. Like, speaking of even just our Hartzog brand page. If you guys didn't follow us,
or don't follow
us. You guys follow us on Instagram. That? Follow us on Instagram at the Hartzog, HARTRIMONY. We need better shirts. That quality.
Why do we need better shirts?
We gotta get some better quality on those shirts.
We washed it a few
times. So follow us on Instagram. But even on our brand, so let's take a commercial break while we're here.
Wow, that was quick. Okay, go ahead, go for it.
Since we're promoting ourselves, please leave us a rating. Please leave us a review if you're watching this on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. If you guys didn't know, we have a 7-figure cleaning business. Make sure you tap into Cleaning Business University, one of the only places where you learn how to start a remote cleaning business without cleaning any houses and learn how to scale up to 6 figures. CleaningBusinessUniversity.com.
I mean, 7 figures. At
7 figures. CleaningBusinessUniversity.com. Link will be below in the show notes.
Wow. Okay, go ahead. Back from commercial. So we were talking about what were we talking about? Hegemony?
Testing to see what works.
Okay. Yeah,
so Hartzog. So even on our page, we've posted different types of things. When we first started the Hartzog brand, it was about fitness, finances, and family, which is essentially what it's still about. But it's branded in a different way. We were posting our dog, we were posting our days, we were posting this, we were posting that. And we realized that people want to know more about money, the finance, the debt freedom story. So we started talking more about the money side of things, the finances, the debt freedom. That story took off. So we focused mainly on that, and then we started talking about the cleaning business. And now you see a mixture of cleaning business, finances, and family. So you got to test and see what works, and you may never know. We may come back, and you may just see nothing about the cleaning business. You may just see...
At some point,
you may just see family. You may just see our Cleaning Business University has its own page, and Hartzog is completely separate, which should be not necessarily a bad thing. But you got to test and see what works, see what people like about you, see what they don't like, see what works in your business. Different price points, different strategies. You got to always be testing. ABT. Always be testing. You like that one?
It's all right.
I like that. I thought it was cool.
If you have our course, it's similar to something else.
Always
no private joke. No private joke. Keep it private. That's for the people that got the course. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
Another thing was it's okay to do things for fun before the money. So we were talking about like just our podcast of like where we see it going. I'm like, we both were like, we don't know where we see it going. We have a good time with it. We have always thought to do a podcast, and as usual, I had shut it down because I'm like, we don't got the time.
With it.
We don't got the time, and even now with a kid, I don't know what we're doing, but yeah, we here. But it's just it's an evergreen because we post tons of content on Instagram, but that's gone in I don't even know how many hours at this point. But you can also refer back to our podcast, our YouTube. But it's for us to just chat and get all the information and thoughts out versus just the IG lives that we were doing and spilling our hearts out into.
Yeah.
So,
and when it comes to doing, everything doesn't have to be for the money. Like you don't have to start something just for the money, and the money may come, which is which is important. Even with this, like money may come. At the Hartzog brand, there was no money in it.
I think it also has to do with like when you start a business too, like start something, right?
Yeah.
Because if we were on our dying need and we started this podcast, we'd be like, we need money ASAP.
Yeah. So don't start something out of desperation either. So it's okay to do things when it's not for the money, but also don't start something out of desperation for the money because it's going to become a chore. It's going to be a hassle, and you probably ain't going to want to do it anymore.
Nope.
So that is very important.
Okay.
Don't do things for the money. It's okay to do things just for fun, even as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. This one is probably for me, is what Tony is going to say. Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it.
That's it. That's self-explanatory too. Is the mic on? Let's make sure the mic is on because that's very important. Just because you have it don't mean you have to spend it. And that even comes to us. Like we don't spend a lot of money. A lot is relative, but a lot in our lives
percentage based on how much we make. We don't spend.
So just because you have it, you don't have to spend it. So I was at the barber the other day. And he heard us on a podcast, and he was like, "Yo, that's my guy. I cut his hair." And he was coming. He's like, "Yo, you was on this podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, we was on it." He's like, "That's a dope podcast. It's about financial freedom." And he was like, "I heard you talking about this, that, and the third." He's like, "Let me see what you driving." And we were just joking because he was going outside anyway. And he's like, "You're living what you speak about." So I drive a 2014 Infiniti Q50S, paid off, like 60,000 miles on it. Great looking car. So I love the car. But I could be driving something a lot more lavish, a lot more extravagant if I wanted to.
And I may be soon.
And Janoka may be soon.
This is where we go different ways.
Exactly, but just because we got it don't mean we have to spend it.
Right.
And spend money on things you enjoy doing. If you're not a big driver and you won't be driving a lot like Janoka, don't spend money on a car.
Don't be shading me.
If you
I get what I want.
If you drive every day and you enjoy driving and that's your thing, you want to drive nice, then get something nice. So just because you got it don't mean you have to spend it.
And I believe that is true. Just because you have it, you don't have to spend it. However, you can spend it if you have it.
Yes.
That's the thing for you.
That's the thing.
You can spend it if you have it because it's weird. Because we always say, like, I want to hoard the money. And you want to let it out and invest it. But I like to spend money on things sometimes. Like if we just go shopping, a bag, a shoe, a pants, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, this shouldn't even be a question because we have it.
Yeah.
So if you have it, you can spend it.
You have it, you can spend it. But you don't have to spend it all.
Here we
go. There it is. And that's that. So we make
ahead.
it seem easy, but it's really not. So this was, I'm going to tell you a story actually. So this actually was in the conversation, but so someone sent us an email and they said, "You're not on the emails, number one. We gotta get you back in those emails."
It's probably best not.
It's best you're not on the emails because you just delete them. So someone sent us an email to Clean Your Business University. If you're watching this, I'm not calling you out, but this is a good topic because we were sitting at that table. I was like, damn, everything this. Like number one creator on Teachable, you make this seem easy. You got a whole community, you make it seem easy. Abu, I see your ads everywhere. You make it seem easy, but you forget that they have been doing this for a while. Abu's been doing marketing on a professional level for maybe a decade or something like that, and Terry's been trading for quite some time.
She said she quit 2018.
So she's been teaching professionally for quite some time on the training.
Well, she's a teacher.
Yeah. So she's been teaching as a whole for a decade or so. So you can't just say you just can't just hop in and expect those same results. And someone DM'd us and was like, "Yo, I want to get y'all course." you guys make it look so easy. I'm definitely going to buy it. And I said, whoa. Do not buy our course. And they said, oh,
Nelly.
I wish I could read this out loud because I don't have it. But the gist of it was that I'm putting my faith into you guys. I'm going to buy this course. And you guys make it look easy. I said, whoa, do not put your faith into us. You need to put your faith. You need to wait a minute. You need to put your faith into God. Amen. Put your faith into Lord Jesus Christ.
That's like Rihanna when people was complaining. She's like, I didn't tell you to have your kid be raised by me.
You need to put your faith into Jesus Christ. And I was like, yo, I didn't say that. But I said, you need to put your faith into yourself. You need to put your faith, because what happens when you lose faith in us? What happens when things get hard? What happens when it's late at night and you trying to DM us on Instagram and we ain't there? What happens if you post a question in the community and our team is asleep and they're not answering and you just tired of this business? Faith is not out. Your faith in us is not going to keep you there. It's going to be your faith in yourself. It's going to be your faith in your business and the faith in what you feel like you could do in this business. That's what's going to keep you there. What's your thoughts on that?
Amen. I agree. That's all I got to say to that. I mean, for people... I think about when people talk about you make it look easy, I always reference back to influencers, right? I think now people have a better understanding as to what it takes. Yeah. I'm talking about influencers that like always are doing ads and putting out content for other companies and getting products and things like that. Because you're an influencer in your own right.
Definitely.
You influence people, whatever it is that you do that people come to you for, or just in general, you influence people day to day. So you're influencing your own right. But I'm talking about those people on Instagram. I think when they started, people were just assuming it was a pretty picture, right? And now I think influencers show a bit more of the BTS behind the scenes of what goes on. And it's a lot of work, right? A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money that goes into it. And people just assume it just looks easy because it's just a picture I'm just posting. Yeah. No, I got to go buy the products. I have to have a photographer, a videographer, makeup, hair, whatever. I got to come up with my own caption. I got to, submit it, get it edited, all these other things that go into place. So it's the same thing with you just looking in. And I think that's, with the reel on Instagram, you're just seeing a reel of my life. You're not even seeing the full thing. You're just seeing what I let you see. Yeah. And you're assuming that everything is good and nothing bad happens or it's not extra work. That's an assumption on your part. So, yeah, I definitely know that a lot of work goes into any business, not just any business, and don't just come in thinking it's going to be easy, right? So that's all I got to say about that.
And another point of that was, I mentioned like my trainer. I was like, my trainer, I'm gonna give you an example. Like my trainer he's in great shape and he makes his stuff look easy. And if he gives me a workout plan and that workout plan is hard for me or difficult or uncomfortable, does that mean that the information he gave me was hard information or what the workouts he gave me was hard workouts? No, it just means that he's been doing it long and it's easy for him. Now, I need to put in the time, I need to put in the reps, I need to put in the dedication so that those same workouts that he sent me that he's doing on a daily basis are just as easy for me as it is for him. But that takes time, dedication, putting in the work and the reps. So I hope that message resonated with you. And don't buy anything because you think it's going to be easy. And if you think it's going to be easy, think the opposite. Because if it's not easy, you expected that. You thought it's going to be hard. But if it is easy, you are pleasantly surprised that it's easy. So that's a gem right there. That's a ball.
Yeah.
And what else? So gotta let go of the money.
That's more for you.
That was definitely more for me.
I let go of the money. I'm ready.
Gotta let go of the money. In order to grow, you gotta let go of the money. So we're spending more. I think over this last 12 months, we've been spending more, not in terms of just like frivolous money, but just being more like you went to the store and you bought like some shoes the other day, and I was like, all right, cool. You bought some shoes. I left it alone. I ain't saying that. So letting go of the money is very important, especially when you have it, because if we hoard the money, it changes the purpose of what the money is intended to do.
Yeah, I mean, you work for the money. You work to be able to walk into a store and buy it and not be like, let me check my account. Let me check that's what you work for that freedom, right? At least I do. I don't like to worry about that. And just experiences is a big thing for me. So especially when it comes to experiences, I'm like, what you need? Okay, yes, but we'll do it. So vacation is experience for me. So that type of stuff, like I want all the luxury on vacation. I am on vacation for a reason. Generally, like you said, we don't really spend that much when we're home or day to day. So vacation is like vacation me and make sure it's top notch.
Yeah, that private driver was like $100+. I was like, sheesh.
Top notch.
But they pulled up in the Suburban. AC was on. Everything was comfortable. Alani had her own seat. I had
met us at the
seat.
luggage at the what's it called? Baggage claim.
You had your own seat. It was luxury. So that's what we work so hard for as entrepreneurs or just people in general. Mm-hmm. We work hard for time freedom, financial freedom. That's what we want. Location freedom, so that we could go anywhere, do we want with whoever we want, and just not have to worry about it. So that's very important. Anything else you had?
That is it.
I did want to mention. So the check comes. And you sit down with a couple millionaires now, So the check comes. I do like the fake grab.
Yeah. Okay. So let's be clear. So we just were excited because we become millionaires, but these are multi-millionaires.
These
right?
are people,
so another level,
making millions of dollars a year.
Yeah. Multi-millionaires.
So the check come and you like, I do the fake grab. You know the fake grab. You kind of wait a little bit.
I'm waiting here. I'm sitting because I don't got the card.
You know what I'm saying? I sit there. If you watch this on YouTube, I'm like leaning to the side of my chair right now. I do like the fake grab a little bit, like the check comes.
Nice,
so
you
start fumbling for your wallet, even though your wallet's right there in your hand. If you a man, your wallet be right there. So I do like the fake grab, and they end up fighting over the check. I'm like,
they definitely did fight.
I'm like, I'm gonna do a little bit on that, yo. They're like, nah, get the next one. All right, cool. I'm gonna get the next one. Hopefully it ain't as expensive. But
you a fool.
But hopefully I got some gain from this. We got a lot of gain from it.
Yeah.
And our vacation was lovely. We are happy to be back. And drop us a comment. Let us know which one of these gems most resonated with you.
Yes.
That would be very important so that we could engage with you in the comments. And again, rate, review this podcast. Welcome to the Hartzog Hustle. We appreciate you guys being here. Peace.
Bye.
This has been an episode of the Hartzog Hustle Podcast. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite listening platform. And follow Anthony and Janilka on Instagram at The Hartrimony. That's TheHartrimony. Keep hustling, baby. Keep hustling, baby.
Get that money. Get that money.